Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. Man, we got a beautiful snowy scene today. A little bit of snow. See the snow in them hills? That's all right. That's all right. Man, thank you. Thank you all. I love you all. Truly. Man, uh, another beautiful day. I am truly grateful. Thank you all for helping me to continue to build the worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Man, please help me to continue to do that. Please like, share, subscribe, all of those things. Um, I guess I really need to work on building up my likes, get their algorithm in effect, right? Please help me with that. Please, every time that you come to my YouTube channel, make sure that you stop in and check out the community section for very powerful and unique information there. There's a ton of it already there, um, just sitting. So please check that out. Please make sure you help me build up my rumble.com channel. Very important. I really need you to support me there. Please go to rumble.com and search either BKS Light or Big King Sadiq, and I'll pop up. Please make sure you subscribe there. Um, please check out my music on all the streaming platforms. Please do that. Uh, there's a very powerful and unique energy we get from music. And for me to put this same kind of content in my music is a lot different than the hip hop or what is termed hip hop that you may be exposed to in common media, we'll say, mainstream legacy media. So please check that out. Please support me by purchasing both books. Both made affordable and available now on Amazon.com. First title, Peace, Love, Respect. This is the new way, right? And my second title, Ascension Path, Best Self, Best Life, right? Um, please make sure you check both of those out. You purchase both of those, currently available on Amazon. Um, yeah, folks, thank you for helping me to continue to build this. And I want to talk about something. I'll try to be as concise as possible, uh, but very important. This is an incredibly important subject, which is war, right? Um, folks, with all that we have going on right now, right? Um, all of the domestic issues that we have, all of the uh, uh, problems that we have here in the U.S., too many to even begin to list, right? But we all know what they are, and we know that they deserve attention, and many of them require the proper funding to be able to bring resolution to. So, what we've got to do is make sure that we are, if we're to move forward in earnest, right, and bringing solution to these issues, we have to direct all of our energy in those directions, right? The direction of solution or resolution to the issues we're currently facing. How can we do that if we are witnessing before our eyes the dismissal of those issues, or dealing with all of the plethora of domestic, very serious domestic issues that we currently have? How can we see those properly resolved if we see at the same time our government taking our tax dollars, right, and our energy and investing it into war, which is exactly what they're doing with the billions of dollars that have been diverted to support the military conflict between Russia and the Ukraine, and the money that we see in support of Israel, which is probably in some ways even worse because in that instance, we're having it reported, folks, that we're talking about outright genocide, right? The way that, and this is not my words, right? I'm telling you what is being reported from sources from all around the world. We have countries that are standing up in stark protests, like South Africa, right? For example, that are being that are standing up in stark protest to the Israeli version of defense, because that's what they say, folks. They say they're just defending themselves. Meanwhile, we are seeing thousands, tens of thousands of people, innocent civilians, right, who are not Hamas, who are not associated or guilty of any terrorism, right, murdered, killed, men, women, children, right? We're talking about already, they said, is estimated over 10,000 children alone, regardless if you want to try and sit there and have some form of a debate about the adults that are killed, which is ridiculous because there are tens of thousands of innocent civilians who have nothing to do with any terroristic attack being killed right now. Again, not my words, folks. This is what is being complained about by folks, in fact, entire countries protesting about what is going on in the Gaza Strip. And our country is sending billions of dollars to Israel to aid in that. And in order to make it seem or feel like it's the right thing to do, there is countless efforts in the multimedia legacy media, mainstream media vein of information that you're getting, right? Um, that is constantly in support of that and painting the picture of we must run to Israel's defense. Folks, again, I've stated a million times, there is nothing right about terrorism, right? At all, period. But there is nothing at all right about slaughtering, murdering tens of thousands of innocent men, women, and children who are just trying to get out of the way, folks. These people are just trying to live, survive, and avoid the madness that is this military conflict. It's not even a military conflict because you want to have two militaries lining up against one another, right? You have terrible terroristic attacks that are being inflicted upon innocent, non-deserving Israeli citizens, right? Even if they're settlers that you can debate about whether or not their presence is legitimate in the Gaza Strip, they still don't deserve to be murdered or tortured or anything of that like done to them in any terroristic effort. That is wrong, right? But we cannot conversely look upon the military actions of Israel where we know that there are tens of thousands of innocent people being killed as though their lives mean absolutely nothing. It's not right. There's no way we can frame it to be right, or anyone can frame it to be right. But our country is steadily pouring money and our energy into that. And they're pouring our energy into it by framing it in such a way that it's the right thing to do to run to the defense of Israel in this struggle, right? and just blanketly support and help to fund what they are doing in response in the Gaza Strip. And it's wrong. It's wrong. And anyone who is allowing themselves to be manipulated into believing that it's the right thing to do, you're allowing yourself to be manipulated into sending your energy in the form of support, in the form of intent, right? Your intention is to support an effort that is killing people. For folks, as much as we have political debate and framing of, which is often propaganda, right? War propaganda. Anytime we have the framing of any sort of a military conflict as the right thing to do, we are having ourselves or anyone who is buying into that, having them manipulated into sending their energy in the form of intention and support. So not only are we sending billions of dollars that could be and should be allocated to help people and to help solve domestic issues here in our country now, right? So not only is that happening, but at the same time, morally, emotionally, spiritually, you are being manipulated, many of us, into believing that it's the right thing to do and actually lending our support toward those efforts. You can send your heart and send support for the Israelis who are suffering or who have suffered terroristic attacks. Again, I tell you, terrorism is never right. It's never the solution, right? But at the same time, how can we possibly allow ourselves to be manipulated into believing that it's the right thing to do to blindly fund these military efforts of Israel that have, in many cases around the world, and have, in the opinions or perspective of entire nations around the world, have been proclaimed as genocidal actions, right? And how else can you frame it, or how else can you call it anything other than a nefarious, dark effort, right? When you're talking about the innocent lives of tens, tens of thousands, right, of human beings that are being killed, right? It's not right. And for us to be manipulated into believing it's right and to sending our energy in the form of support in any way is another dark and nefarious example of war propaganda that our own government pushes out to our populace via mainstream legacy media. It's not right, folks. We should not be putting and should never again put our energy in the form of any kind of support, right? Certainly not our consent, right? Certainly not our consent, and certainly not the billions of dollars that are being wasted, and I repeat, wasted on taking lives. Folks, war is an ugly thing. And as much as it gets framed politically and by the talking heads, right, or that you see on TV as a necessary thing, war is one thing for sure. It's killing. It's killing mass amounts of people. That's what war is about. Mass murder. You can convince yourself that it's something else, but the truth of the matter is war is mass murder. We can't afford this anymore, folks. We got too many things that we need to do, that we have to do, and that we should be doing, both with that the billions and billions of dollars that are going to fund such efforts, and most certainly with our consent, our intention, our energy. We can no longer afford to pour our energy into war. We need to be putting all of our energy toward paradigm shift so that we can shift out of an old paradigm that constantly supports war and those who make money on both sides of it, right? We need to be pouring our energy into this new paradigm where war, mass murder, the reality of war, which is mass murder. We need to be pouring our energy into a new paradigm where war and mass murder are a thing of the past. Huh? That's the new paradigm that we want. That's where we want to put our energy, right? That's where the hearts of the world are directed. That's why you have entire countries standing up and saying no. It's time for change, folks. We can't get behind the old rah, rah, rah American military support theme. Folks, I'm not saying that your loved ones who are in the military are bad people. They're good people with good hearts who are getting into it for what they believe to be good reasons. I understand that. But the reality of war, the cold reality of war is killing people. Most of the time, you're killing innocent people who don't have anything to do with those who push the buttons to say war is okay. Folks, we've got to change in that regard. We can no longer afford to put our energy, our hearts and mind, our consent, our intentions towards supporting war. We have got to put our energy, our hearts, our mind, our compassion. Come on, folks, these are human beings. They're not just numbers on the screen. They're not just casualties. They're not acceptable collateral damage. These are human beings, many of which, tens of thousands of which, children. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. No longer can we afford to pour our energy into war. We've got to direct our energy into full paradigm shift, that we shift away from the old paradigm that supported war and pour our energy, all of it, into this new paradigm where war is a thing of the past. It's time to get civilized, really, folks. War is not civilized. It truly is not. There is nothing elegant about war. There are no solutions that are derived from war. Just who has the bigger stick to go out and kill more people? Who has more weapons? That has nothing to do with solution, folks. That's a pissing contest. That's the macho, the ultra macho, beat your chest, caveman mentality that we have to grow away from. We're not solving anybody's problems with war. No one. War never has been about solutions. only those who have bigger militaries or more weaponry exerting their force and dominance over those who do not. That's what war is. And along the way, a whole lot of casualties in the form of human lives being taken or destroyed in one way or another. Right? Not to mention the billions of dollars worth of damage that's done in the entire cities that have to be rebuilt, permanent damage done to the planet. Folks, there's nothing good about war. Nothing good about war. And anytime you have some talking head dressed up so nice in their suit and tie or in their business-like dress, sitting in a seat as a representative of mainstream legacy media telling you or convincing you in some way or attempting to convince you in some way that it's the right thing to do. Folks, that's the manipulation of the socially economic elite and all those who desperately want to hold on to the old paradigm of misery, pain, and hate. That paradigm is all about war. That paradigm supports war. That paradigm has fat cats on both sides selling weapons to both sides. That old paradigm has politicians who, when they have the opportunity, they spur on war. Or if they get the slightest inclination or notion of war, the first thing they do is start putting their money into calls and puts and whatever sort of stock options they need to make in order to support their efforts of making money off of people dying. That's what it that's what it results to. We can put all the cute little terms on it we want. The bottom line is we're talking about people dying and human lives being slaughtered. We can no longer afford to pour our energy or our support in any form into these wars. They're senseless and they're wrong. It's time for us to stand up for what's right. It's time for us to pour our energy into a new high vibrational frequency paradigm that does not support that. It's time for change for all of the people around the world. Search your hearts, folks. We know what's right. All right? I love you all. Together, we can stand up for what's right and put an end to these wars and start directing all that energy, that funding, all of that can be directed towards solutions right here at home. No longer for war. All right. I love you all. Let's stand up together. Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq, I'm out.